All right, so a couple of weeks for you in the starting lineup, Chris. Just talk about how it's felt getting some run out there with the ones.
Yeah, it's felt good, right? And that's kind of what you dream of growing up. You want to be a professional football player. Like, you want to be a starter. You want to try to impact the game as much as you can. So just being out there, getting my feet wet, it's been an enjoyable experience, but now it's just trying to make a larger impact.
Obviously, a very veteran receiver room around you. What is it like trying to keep yourself engaged when a lot of the targets may be headed towards Kenny or Darrell, for example?
I mean, that's part of the process, right? And like, you can look at it that way in regards to not getting as many targets. But me, it's more of a learning experience, right? I'm blessed to have guys like D-Walk, Manny, Kenny in the room. Guys have been there, done that, who have done pretty much everything. So when I could sit back and learn from them, and they take a lot of the defense away, and I can kind of just take what's given to me, I'm okay with that.
Talk about learning from guys like Manny Arsenault. Anytime we hear him talk, he seems like he's just got so much to offer. A young guy like yourself, him and Kenny and Darrell again.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly it, right? And you learn a lot from all three of them. Manny, you really learn how to be a professional, right? How to go about it, how to put your best foot forward. With Kenny, it's just the consistency, right? Like, Kenny's a guy who every defense knows he's going to get the ball, and he still manages to produce every week. And with D-Walk's a guy that's always in my ear, right? He's done everything. He's been there. So that's he's a great leader. He's been in my ear just trying to get me to be a better receiver. So, again, being in a room like this, I couldn't ask for more.
Talk about Taylor Cornelius and forming this relationship with him. Wow, he's getting you in and out of the huddle each week.
Yeah, Taylor's been great, and I've been working with Taylor because I was started out with the C team, right? So we've kind of been working our way up together. Even last year, we'd be throw after practice, so we kind of have a bit of a feel for each other already, which has been great. And now it's just a matter of executing on the field and letting the world see it.
Before we talk about your off-season, or rather off-field activities, I do want to get a thought on Ottawa. Of course, you're from Brampton, so I guess not too far away from there. But you're heading back out east, a place where you've won a couple of games, the only place where you guys have won the games this season. So this has got to be a big week for you, especially in the front half of a doubleheader.
Yeah, exactly. And just like every week, our mindset really is the same, right? It's try to go 1-0, whether that's the East, West, the South, if they want it to be. Like, whoever it is, we just want to go 1-0. So yeah, it's going to be definitely going to be a big week. We kind of want to right the ship a little bit, get back on track. But yeah, being out east, of course, we've had success there. So definitely looking forward to the opportunity.
All right. So you officially graduated law school over the course of this season. Is that correct? Over the bye week?
Yeah. So I graduated before this season started. Yeah. So I just finished my third year. Yeah.
So talk to me about working that in as with the schedule as a football player. I'm sure most people would agree. Like, that's a full-time job enough. Yeah. But my girlfriend's a law student or a lawyer now, so I've seen what the work is like on that end of things too. I can only imagine what you went through to pursue all of this.
Yeah, it was definitely tough, but I think for me, I just had two passions, right? Like, I definitely have a passion for football. I definitely have a passion for the law. So just after practices and things like that, I would find time to get in my books a little bit, make sure I'm ready to get for an exam and things like that. And it happened to work out timing-wise, whether it was like the COVID season or the exam period being after the season. So it worked out timing-wise, but again, just kind of like staying on top of it, being in lectures after, it kind of brought me back to university, right? Being a student athlete and whatnot, but managed to make it work.
So what prompted the passion for the legal field?
To be honest, it goes back a while ago. I remember I was doing I went to Queen's University. There was an extracurricular called Queen's Model Parliament. And I remember we actually went to Ottawa where we were members of the House of Commons, and we actually sat in the House of Commons and acted like we were MPs. And I think from that moment on, I just saw myself in a different light in terms of what I could do after football, right? And I kind of started preparing for that maybe a little bit earlier than some other guys. And I think as I figured out different passions for things, that was just one of the experiences for me that I thought, okay, maybe I can go to law school. And I don't know if I want to be an MP necessarily, but I do know that law was definitely a good path to give me some options to go moving forward.
So did you ever find yourself in a position where you were deciding whether to study the playbook or the textbook?
No, fortunately, no. I've been pretty good with time management and managing my time. And I think it's kind of like marginal utility, the law of diminishing returns. You can only study something for so long until you start losing some of that information. So for me, once I feel good in the playbook, then I'll tap into the law textbook. Once I feel good in the law, then I'll tap into a playbook. So it's been a bit of a balancing act, but trying to make it work.
If you can tell me a couple of things you think will help right the ship here for the Edmonton Elks as you've entered the second half of the season now, what do you see?
I think simply we just got to execute, right? I think we got all the pieces. We've got a bunch of talent, and we can put our roster up with any roster in the league, and I think we're happy with that. I think it's just a matter of execution. Offense, we got to do a better job of executing the red zone, putting more points up, and we just got to be a little bit more disciplined, right? Penalties will kill you in this game. It's hard enough to beat other teams, so the last thing you want to do is beat yourself. So we got to clean that up a little bit, and I think we'll be all right.
Chris, thank you.
Of course, man. I appreciate it.
Cheers, man. That was great stuff.
Got you.
Cheers.